Alright, welcome back everyone. I'm still having some very strange connection issues. So I'm sorry for all of you watching live. It's really annoying and I hate it when that shit happens. But this time it's not really my fault. But I have dropped like 22% of my frames. So I guess you're getting 1/5 of a show today. Or 4/5 of a show today. Damn it. Fucking math. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right back into it. I hope everything is going okay on your guys' end. But let me unmute the team and see where we're at. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Having some very strange connectivity problems. I'm definitely gonna restart my router.
I've been having weird Discord things as well, like messages not sending or uploading properly.
Discord is fucking up on Sunday.
Yeah,
when
it
I
was.
played Stars Without Number, but
It was hilarious because I could hear you all fine, so I'd hear you being like, "Someone roll perception, 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 perception," and then someone would be like, "I can do that."
yeah, it was really
everything.
strange. But hey, we're back now. So everybody being back here, the one final thing, Zian, as you're like cashing out, right, and as you're perusing around, this individual who's in here with you, who you saw at the Hunter's Lodge, walks up behind you as you all are leaving and dumps like a bunch of junk onto the counter, right? And the woman begins like going through it and picking out pieces and what it is. Mouse, can you roll me a perception check, please?
Of course I can.
I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make it an average check, but I'm giving you a boost dice because it's in your wheelhouse.
Of course it's in my wheelhouse. Where's my perception? It's under P for perception.
Correct. Hey, nice. Cool.
Go.
So the group. So you notice, you recognize that almost every single piece of equipment that he's dumped onto the table are all smaller parts to a whole. It appears to be mostly like droid parts, like mostly like actuators and stuff that you put in small mechanical devices. Just a bunch of droid parts. And I think that some other things that you notice are that the arm that he was working on in the shop, he also places that down on the table. And as she's kind of like going through and he's paying for the items, he's taking them and like comparing them to parts inside of his droid arm that he has on him. Doesn't really engage with you. This is simply just a moment to like observe what is happening in the world.
Oh, okay. Do I recognize the kind of droid that it might be, or
so not in this form, I don't think. But I think that what you do notice is there are quite a few items that are used in combat models, probably. Combat models, they don't require, like, they require power sources basically for their blasters and barrels. They don't really require the whole functionality of like a blaster pistol, right? Because they're all built in.
right?
So I think that you notice that there's a lot of, in fact, yeah, he probably has like a lot of spare power sources that wouldn't be used for like your typical everyday protocol droid.
I see. Does it look like it's only for one droid, or
no, not at all?
So it's definitely more than one droid.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You could probably put together a whole droid and more with the parts that he's dumped onto the table.
I see. Okay. Good to know.
Cool. So I noticed that previously Kin and Jax and Dash, you all went up to the workshop.
Oh, this guy spurned me before, right? Like,
yeah, so like I roleplayed it kind of a little bit. You were curious because he was like working on this droid arm at the bar. So you kind of were like curious and went up and tried to ask him about stuff, but he was like real standoffish. He didn't spurn you per se, but then he moved a seat down so that you weren't sitting right next to him anymore. It's clear he just doesn't like to be bothered.
You see.
Mostly.
We're kindred spirits.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Right? Like this is exactly what you would be doing if you were out here all by yourself, and planning to do something with it. So
Okay.
So the other three of you, did you want to go up to the workshop? Because you totally can,
I'm guessing we would
or you
calm
can.
the others.
Yeah, you could calm the others and meet up with them. I think Zian's on his way to the outpost center.
Yep.
You wanted to go there.
Oh, I need to follow, I guess. I don't know where that is.
Perhaps. The outpost center is over here.
Okay.
I know where you are now.
Help. How do I things?
Doors?
How do I door?
There you go.
Hello. Hi, Ken.
Hey, Mouse.
Oh,
Nothing happened.
hello, Jax.
Hello, Ken. And other person.
Yeah, so
Other
like...
person.
Nod.
Oh, you missed the big apology.
Oh, did I?
Right.
Yeah.
That was the big
That was
thing.
kind of sweet.
I forgot to force you to watch the VOD or take a clip of that for you.
Damn it.
Dash made a very heartfelt apology to you about
Okay.
always trying to get into your space, and like he understands that, you know, he's not used to working with the team, and you know he understands that you're the mechanical one, so he's going to be better about leaving that sort of stuff to you, but you know he just gets defensive over things. It was very sweet.
Okay.
But
Well,
I
forgive him.
I did say that you could make the decision. And It's
Yeah.
not something I can make for you.
If that's the case, then I forgive him.
Yay, fronts.
And then I'll say hey Dash instead of hey person that I know.
Don't call it
Acquaintance.
acquaintance.
Hello, pilot.
Hello.
Person I tolerate because we're on the same ship.
Right, yeah. Hello, person
Okay,
that
let's go.
I have to deal with.
Yeah.
Zian, you walk in the outpost center, and these are armed guards.
Mhm.
They have the Arcanist symbol on their shoulder patches. So they're very clearly like working for Arcanist, but this is like an information
Okay.
center, right? It's like the reception area for when you come into the city.
So
And,
I will
yeah.
ask very politely if this is where I can inquire about renting a speeder.
Help. Where am I going?
See, if you
Mouse is lost.
move in very small increments, you can see where the door. Oops.
Here, mouse. This way. Follow me.
The walls of this place.
So yes, the individual sitting down at the information desk nods and he says, yes indeed. Now I see that you have quite a large crew. Are you looking for a larger speeder? We have all sizes, varying in pricing. May I ask what this is for? Is it for pleasure
it's for
or
the
business?
Great Dragon Hunt.
Business it is. Very well, yes. Well, we can certainly offer a wide variety for you of equivalent speeders.
Is this clearly an Arcanus run operation?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They have Arcanist patches on their shoulders.
Fucking Ken.
Yeah, no, like I knew that was. I was actually typing it myself before Kim did.
Jax would he doesn't have a lot of standing with Arcanus, but I let them know that he is a member of Arcanus to see if that would help us get a better deal or access to anything.
Yeah, I certainly think it would get you a discount for sure, regardless. So yeah, Zian, they say, you know, we have a wide variety, and you know, if you're going on the Crate Dragon Hunt, we also offer a varying amount of insurance policies as well, as you might understand. You may be in harm's way.
At that, Zian kind of looks a little like, what's insurance?
Right, exactly.
In severance.
Yeah,
In sewer ants.
correct.
Well,
Yeah,
Dash
Mouse
knows
is
what
Mouse
insurance
is confused about that too. What's insurance? What is insurance?
Yeah, so
It's like
only
gambling.
Dash knows what it is.
yeah, they say to you, they're like, you know, we have no problem renting our speeders to you, but should anything happen to the speeder, you wouldn't want to be liable with us, would you?
I'm a mechanic.
Well, can you fix parts of the hull missing?
Yeah.
I think
Hey,
like
here.
I think the guard standing behind him and to the left just kind of like laughs. He's like, ha! And he says, "Very well, it's your choice, but you assume all the liability for taking the speeder out."
I'll ask how much the insurance is, like if it varies vehicle to vehicle or if it's a flat.
Yeah, I think he says it does, but
Okay.
it's simply enough to cover basic maintenance costs. Anything beyond that obviously can be chalked up as
Okay.
part of the game, but it is an additional one-time fee, at least at the beginning.
Okay. How much? So I guess just kind of looking to see what the difference in price between, say, like one 5-seater and or like two or three seater
Yeah, so
speeders might be.
he definitely says to you that renting 2 would be far less efficient, although you would be able to cover more ground, perhaps. If that is a thing that you are looking to do. Obviously, with 2 teams, it would be easier to track. There are some teams that use speeder bikes where they're all individually scouting and then reconvene when they find prey.
Yeah, let's not split the party.
This is not one to split.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drive and you guys just.
Yeah, you don't want to get snuck up on by crate dragons.
Yeah, I think he laughs if that was out loud and says, "Ha, no, far more dangerous are the sand people." Anyway,
It's like, how dangerous can a person be?
it's...
Like, I'm sure anybody out there in the wilderness is reasonable. This coming from a guy who's been on a like backwater world where everybody's like very communal based.
Yeah.
Jax would have probably encountered sand people before.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
He would just laugh at that.
Yeah, and I think the other ones laugh too, and I think the guard sitting at desk smirks, bemused, and says, "Well, yes, I guess perhaps you could convene with them if you wish your skull to be used as a bull."
Oh, neat.
But yes, certainly we can offer you a fair deal. And Jax, you also intervene at some point, right, and tell him that you're Arcanus.
Yeah.
Ah, you are an agent. That is good. We can offer a discount, but typically agents of the syndicate don't participate in these. Are you a mercenary of some sort?
I'm rolling with this crew for the time being. Arcanus has no use for me.
Ah, I see. Yes, well, I'm afraid that can happen at times, can't it? Very well.
Indeed.
We can start some of the paperwork if you're looking into getting a 5-seated speeder. Now, we have a variety of options, and he kind of like, he gives you the sales pitch at that point, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, blah, 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 blah.
Can we get a 4-seater with like a flatbed?
Like a cargo rack.
Yeah. Or
I
probably
agree with
gonna-
that notion.
more like a pickup truck.
Oh, I don't think that's a good idea because you can get severely damaged by like sand as we're driving.
Yeah, he's got a
I don't-
point.
I don't know if any of you have ever been the person at the car dealership who's sitting and waiting for someone else to finish with their deal.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
But
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Mouse is essentially like finding the most like comfy spot to sit and just like staring up at the ceiling.
Should
Well,
we go and take care of getting Kin shiny?
Oh yeah,
I
give you
would
that.
I would turn to Dash when he's doing the sales pitch and just kind of like,
Yeah, I
what do
guess
you
this
think
is
we
my
we
problem.
might need? Because that's kind of your expertise, I would think, right?
So the thing is, generally, Dash has been around spaceships more than
pickles.
speeders, but at least he kind of has a basic thing. Like if it's like a real life example, if you mention cars at the dealership, like Dash would be the person that knows like what to pick that is going to be suitable for like driving around a town they're like staying at
Yeah.
for a while. So Do you have a specific list of speeders you can list me off, Jordan?
Yeah, so obviously they offer enclosed and unenclosed. The enclosed ones being more expensive, but also being safer from the elements, right? Like in the event of a
Most likely
storm,
want that.
yeah, if in the event of a storm, you could literally like bunk down inside of it, which would offer you protection.
Yeah.
Which is good news.
Unenclosed means drive-by.
Right, yeah, it definitely means that you have more like standing up and firing out of it. Also, the unenclosed speeder has the distinct advantage of like being easier to get in and out of if you needed to like it probably wouldn't even be a maneuver to just like leap into the seat and start driving, right? If we're talking mechanically here.
So we're gonna boil it down to unenclosed.
I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very because like I'm guessing the tent that I got is great for just like an average night if we're gonna be out there. But if it's like a sandstorm,
yeah,
I don't think it's gonna survive that, would it?
Mm-mm.
So
no, probably not.
In the idea of being safe, I would think the enclosed, if it's not too terribly expensive.
Okay,
'Cause-
so what are our options, though? That's my question.
I mean, basically that. Like, a speeder is a speeder is a speeder, right?
Yeah.
The variety
Yeah.
of like bells and whistles that you have on it don't matter as much as if you want like an open top speeder like we've seen on Tatooine before in the movies, or if you want like a more enclosed speeder that you see traditionally more in like the cities and stuff, right?
Okay, price difference then?
So the let me just make sure my math is correct here. So if you wanted to do the speeder for the whole 2 weeks, like if you wanted to pay up front for the whole 2 weeks, the unenclosed speeder would be 350 credits because it's 25 credits a day, right? It's 350 to rent that for the 2 weeks. The insurance package on that is an additional 50 credits.
Okay.
So 400 total if you wanted the insurance.
Okay.
For the other one, it's slightly more. So for the whole 2 weeks, it'd be 490.
Including the insurance?
No, with the insurance, it would be it's probably the same, 540 for an enclosed speeder. So a little bit different.
So what's the I'm terrible at mental math. What's the total difference between the
140.
140.
So it's 400 or 540.
From what I calculated on my calculator, the difference is I think like 50 credits more each per person if we split it in 4.
I personally, and this is kind of like in and out of game, probably more so out of game, but I think Zian kind of knows the importance of like shelter on backwards planets, I guess. The enclosed one seems like it's the best bet.
So for Jax, it would matter. One thing is, can you shoot at? He's not gonna want to ride in anything where like if we're being chased, we're so in the enclosed one. There are windows and like things.
I mean, so like in Star Wars, the enclosed speeders have like doors. They don't necessarily have windows that roll. They don't have windows that roll up and down per se. But they do have doors that you could like open the door and fly by and do stuff. Sure, absolutely. Star Wars, you can do whatever the hell you want with it.
So what Jax would do is Jax would take Zian and Dash into a sidebar.
Okay.
And be like, realistically, like take them out and say, realistically, if we manage to kill a Krayt Dragon, the chances that we extract it and come back here without being attacked by another hunting party or any of the dangers that are out there are 0. So whatever we go in, we need to be protected from the elements, sure, but we need to be able to protect ourselves as well. Like this is just, like this is just Jax talking the only way he knows how, which is like the kind of the tactical side of it. But like, I like Zian and the group. Like, I'm more confident with
our group being able to handle another group of people than we are able to handle a really bad sandstorm.
Yes, but can we handle people if they're chasing us and we're stuck in a coffin of death?
Sure, you can just lean out the door and shoot at them.
I'm thinking what I've seen from Tatooine is Luke's speeder and then the cargo
Owen
skiffs
family?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the cargo skiffs that the hut uses. I mean, it's not enclosed, really.
The skiffs from
Yeah.
Jabba's
Jedi.
Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the other consideration here is if you don't have like an enclosed, like a hardened enclosed speeder, regular blaster fire probably can't reach you. Like somebody would need heavier equipment to do so. Now there are hunters that are going to be equipped with that kind of stuff, obviously.
There are hunters. All the hunters are planning to take on Krayt dragons. If it can hurt a Krayt dragon, it can hurt our speeder.
That is most likely correct.
But it could also require like setup, and they don't necessarily like I don't know if they allow vehicle-mounted weapons that can be removed, or if they're like, no, you can't have any vehicle-mounted weapons.
What would the cost be for a 3-person enclosed speeder and a 2-person non-enclosed speeder?
Okay.
Would that be more than the 5, less than the 5, somewhere in the middle, a bit more?
It would be more than the 5 for sure.
Yep.
Also, doesn't really solve the problem. Like, Kin is probably okay. Like, we'd have to repair him most likely, but we'd still need to squish in, if possible.
Can I roll some kind of, or tell me if I need to roll a check for this? But basically, as I've been on Tatooine before, do I have experience with sandstorms, as in being able to predict them, or is it possible, like, how likely is it that there could be a sandstorm that just snuck up on us?
So sandstorms won't sneak up on you. You just won't be able to outrun them. That's the big danger. Sandstorms move extremely quickly. So you might see the wall of sand coming you might have a 30-minute window that you could maybe find shelter, right? Like there are rocky outcroppings on Tatooine. Maybe you could find shelter, but you won't avoid it. You can't drive around it. You can't outrun it unless you're close enough to a city to get there in time.
I should also mention that the journal said that one of the hardest things for this guy was to find shelter.
Yeah.
Alright, hearing that from the journal and all that, Jax would say, listen, like, you know, I'm worried about security, but if you guys want to get an enclosed one, that's fine.
So, as you're talking, you might have noticed that Dash has pulled out a data pad and is currently calculating what the price range would be differently, and just putting into account the 5 people that are going to be occupying it. And as you mentioned, basically it's kind of like a thing where someone mentions like, "Hey, we want to share a car. We should split it," and just like. One of the people just pulls out his phone, calculates, and says, "Well, if we're gonna split it into, if we're gonna split the cost among ourselves, we each have to pay 108 credits." And as he says that amount, he looks up back at them.
Jax will just put his hands up. I don't have that kind of money. I have 60 credits to my name.
I could pay for the whole thing and then just get paid back. Like, if that's...
So, wait a minute. Do we know what we get if we win this contest?
Significant amount of money.
Significant amount of money.
Plus
Krayt Dragon Pearl.
Plus
or
fame.
multiple pearls.
Plus Krayt Dragon Pearls. Plus whatever the Krayt Dragon was hoarding.
Yeah.
Alright, like, so is it specifically in the rules? Because we needed to supply the pearls for inspection if we are drawn with someone else.
Yeah, so the rules, you know what, it probably does. In fact, I had this all worked out. So the contest winners will receive a grand prize total of 5,000 credits.
Okay.
The runner-up will receive 2,500 credits, and the third place winner will receive 1,000 credits. And remember, this is like a planetary wide thing too, so
Yep.
it's not just like the people that you've seen that are going to be out there hunting. It's going to be
But we do get to keep the pearls if we find some.
yeah. Any loot that you take
The whole
will
dragon,
be
right?
will be
'Cause
kept
there's
by
other parts
you.
of the dragon that are really valuable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure.
I'm sure like everything is valuable.
Wait, how much does first place get?
5,000?
5,000 credits.
5,000. Jeez.
Yeah, that's minor compared to what a pearl is worth.
Yeah, the contest is more for fame than it is
Glory.
for
Yeah.
and also so that
And
people
a
can.
Alright,
Alright.
so Jax
Okay.
will just turn to Zian and be like, if you want to pay for it, you pick it, and I will happily give you my contribution from our winnings if
Okay.
we get any.
Yeah, sure. I'm fine with that as long as we just make everything fair and square at the end. And we have enough money for the other stuff. So how much was that the speeder baseline before I try and negotiate it?
540.
540. Okay.
Yep, you
So
can certainly
I'll
try
have
to negotiate.
229. That's including
Jax will
insurance.
take him by hand and be like, insurance is a scam. Don't pay for insurance.
Josh mentions that he can.
But what if the vehicle gets destroyed? We would
If
be
the
on the hook
vehicle-
for that.
If the vehicle gets destroyed, chances are we're buggered anyways.
Fair point.
I mean, I can think of any number of situations where the vehicle gets destroyed, but we're fine. But
But that leaves us in the middle of the Tatooine desert without a vehicle.
I'm
yeah,
not
and
there,
we've got
but getting
supplies and a
birds is
tent, and we're
cheap.
fine.
Price for a speeder is probably like, what, 25,000?
10,000? I don't know. It's
Alright.
expensive.
Yeah.
Jax puts his hands up and is like, whatever you guys know best, and just, yeah, sure.
Okay. So you're gonna pay the 540 for the enclosed.
That's the goal. But before we officially do anything, I want to make sure we have enough money to buy extra supplies like explosives. How much are
Detonite? Or are we
Dangerous
buying
Covenants
grenades?
book.
Or are we...
Yeah.
Go
to the book.
Detonite is like the cheapest and most effective one because you can link it together and it increases. So I've got my book. I'm just trying to.
If we're talking about using explosives, Jax will be awfully good at throwing grenades.
Yeah. So a frag, like a standard frag grenade, is 50 credits.
Okay.
So this wouldn't
And
be...
then
Grenades would be more of,
where's the explosives? There we go. Detonite is like
Dirt cheap.
50 credits. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. It's a bigger boom than a frag grenade, but it's less like you have to set it up,
You
right?
have to set it, but it chains really well.
It's like
So
C4.
I think we have enough. I think we have enough money for that and everything. If we get the speeder, let me try and negotiate though.
Yeah, absolutely. Negotiate.
Let me try. Let me try a little bit of influence too.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your influence. We'll see how that's going to help you in the negotiation here.
Yeah.
Now these guys are pretty. They're pretty square with how they do things. I definitely think a boost dice is appropriate because Jax is helping you by saying he's part of the syndicate.
I'm wondering if I should. These guys might be harder to get than just the old lady.
They definitely are.
So I'm wondering if I should try to do the discipline check.
Right, yeah.
I think that's what I'm gonna try to do.
Okay. So with that, is there a set?
It's an opposed discipline versus discipline.
Ooh, discipline versus discipline. Okay, so their discipline is. Let me look at these. Okay. All right. So they have an okay score in the discipline.
Yeah. So should I roll it through the skill, or should I just roll the force dice? Because I can do a influence check with discipline through the influence power.
Roll it through the skill. I'll add your force dice. So
Okay.
you get 3 dice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
Where's my discipline?
Just so you know, it's an average check with technically with an upgrade. It's 1 blue, 1 red, or 1 purple, 1 red.
Okay.
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 So that's a lot there.
Wow, that's they're your bitches now.
Oh, jeez.
So I think obviously they're gonna give you what you want and then some.
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
have
gonna
any
take
ideas?
a couple conflict because this is kind of shady.
Yeah. I have an idea for the triumph, but if you have something that you think might be good.
What's your idea, and then I'll kind of have some ideas as you're
describing
it.
So my idea is going to be this. You run through everything, you give them their name, and you hand them over the credits, and they go to like enter in, make the transaction.
But the hut has approved it.
Yeah, but it's already been paid for.
Perfect.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
And he kind of like looks, and he's like, "Oh, it seems as though you've already been granted access to a speeder. I'm sorry about the confusion. I should have looked at this. Here." And he just hands you the credits back.
Perfect. Go extra rank and discipline.
Well, I'm going to be the guy that's going to be signing the paperwork under my name now.
Are you?
I am.
Great. I can charge him 20,000 credits when I destroy the speeder.
Sure, I have the cash.
You maybe after you kill the crate dragon, sure.
I have the cash on me.
So yeah, he signs. He gets basically the paperwork just pops up on a screen in front of you, and you just give your biometric imprint, right? You just like give him your thumbprint, and boop, it's done. It's signed over to you. And they say you can pick it up from the hangar whenever you're ready to head out into the world.
Perfect.
So find an appropriate.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that we can fit one of those in our ship because there's like a decent-sized hangar bay storage compartment in the ship. If not, it's fine.
I mean, yeah, I think you can. I think you guys have a room to put a speeder in there. I think there's a specific thing though that, like a specific mod that you put on a ship to carry around equipment like that though. But I could be wrong.
So you can load a speeder into a ship and it can take encumbrance. If you want to be able to work on the speeder,
there you go, something like that.
If you want to be able to transport the speeder in such a way that you could like take
drive
do,
off
like,
with
a land and drive off instantly, it would have the retrofit hangar.
No, I'm figuring we just put it in the ship in case, because like we have these heat maps, right? So we have to go out and find them.
Mm-hmm.
So we might have to go out into the desert to the closest approved landing site, and then just use that as our base. That's kind of my thought process on that.
Everyone has a spare 2,000 credits. We could get a mini torpedo launcher.
I have a spare 2,000 credits.
How do you have?
I'm just kidding. I have a hidden stash. Just kidding.
But I will thank them profusely, and where would have explosives here? Did we find out anything?
So the guard outpost probably has a like stockpile that you could purchase.
Okay.
For a fee, which is
this place the outpost center, or is there a different outpost?
The guard outpost is right here, right next to the workshop and hangar.
Oh,
congratulations, you did it.
That was a good roll.
It was a good roll.
So Jax would have gone this way to follow Zian, and then he would have seen Mouse and Kin up this way, and he's gonna go investigate because he's curious.
Yeah, so I want to talk about what's going on there for a moment. This seems the most So, Ken and Mouse, you guys have been up there for a little bit, and your whole intended purpose here is to, basically outfit Ken so he looks attractive to a crate dragon. Which seems like a terrible idea, but it's
Wait, did he tell me? Did he tell me that was his plan?
No. I want to be shiny.
Cue
Yeah.
that
So
song from Moana.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there is a lot of information that is being left out to Mouse lately.
Yeah, no, that's
Sorry.
on purpose though, not because not because you're just missing it or we didn't explain it to you. No, they purposely didn't tell you a lot of things because they're pretty sure you wouldn't be okay with it. So when the
For
two
record, Ken asked for his plans to be kept private.
yes. So when the two of you enter, you see who you now know to be Larvo Neilnern, right? And Larvo Neilnern is in there working on the workbench, and he's got a big space like cleared out, and he's got his rifle off of his back, and it's kind of like positioned across the workbench, and it's all very meticulously laid out in a very specific order. Not dissimilar to like how you guys have seen Jax do things. And when you walk in, he kind of like just glances over for a moment, but he continues about his work, and you can see he's actually got a set of parts that don't appear to be like duplicates. But you can see like he has the firing pin. If this were not a blaster rifle, he has the power source, and he holds them up. And he kind of compares them, and he swaps them out, and then he holds up the the lenses, and he looks at them, and he swaps one out and leaves one in, and it appears like you could tell, Mouse, just by looking at it without having to make any rolls or anything, that his weapon is heavily modified, like to the max. It's modified, and eventually, after a few moments of this. He very quickly like puts it all together almost with like lightning speed, and then he cocks it back, and then you hear the of it powering up, and he kind of just like aims down the sights and then adjusts them a little bit. He's got a big scope on it as well. He adjusts them a little bit more, and kind of like adjusts the arm piece, the shoulder stock, I should say. Looks down the sights again, just a little bit again. And then satisfied, he kind of puts it back on his back, and he pulls his cloak up around it again, and he turns. Are you staring at him when he turns?
No, but I do turn to Ken, and I'm like, this place is scary. Why are we here again?
We need to get something in it.
Dash would have been mostly leaning against the wall and just
Yeah, that all happens before the two of you get there. Yeah, that all happens before the two of you get there. And I think that as he turns to leave, Ken, you need to find some wax and stuff.
Yeah.
So he turns to leave, which is probably we have Mouse and Ken that are in there for a moment by themselves. So how does that conversation / action go?
So we're here alone?
Yeah, there's just the two of you. He walks out after seemingly satisfied with whatever he was doing.
Yeah, so I start gathering stuff up, and I'm like, so you want me to fix you up?
No, according to Cian, great dragons are attracted to shiny things. We need to lure out great dragon.
And how does me polishing you accomplish that?